Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. In IELTS listening, when you turn to part 3, you get surprised by multiple choice where out of 5 you have to select 2 options. And sometimes you don't know 5 options, 1 question statement. What should I read first? How the answers will come in the audio? I mean, you don't have a clear action plan for that. This video will give you a wonderful action plan to deal with this question type where out of 5 options you have to select 2 options. Watch the video till the end. It will improve to your knowledge and skill to get 8 band in IELTS listening. Okay guys, part 3. Okay, important one. Questions 21 and 22. Choose 2 letters. Which 2 groups of people? So groups of people in the display primarily intended for 2 groups of people and display primarily intended for means the display was for 2 groups of people. A. Students from the English department. Students and English department. B. Residents of the local area. Local residents. Right? C. University's teaching staff. So it's university teaching staff, professors and all that. Potential new students. One is students from English department. Potential students means future students or the students who will join, who are likely to join. And students from other departments and English department. So you should be careful. Students, there are 2 options for that. Residents, teaching staff and potential. By the way, for students there are 3 options. Students from other departments, potential students and students from English departments and all that. Now you got to listen which 2 groups of people is the display primarily intended for. The display was meant for and all that. Now please listen carefully and then you got to decide. They say, alright, good. So have you gathered who's expected to come and see the display? Is it for the people studying English? That's a question. There is no answer in question. Do not be confused that, students from the English department. It's a question. Is it for the people studying English or students from other departments? That is actually E. Right? So they talked about A, they talked about E. Now let's see, what do they say? If they say yes about it, then they will be the answers. If they say no about it, then we need to go on, right? Okay, they continue. All right, they actually say, okay, I'm not clear about it. Graham says, nor me. It means they're not clear. That was how it used to be, but it didn't attract many people. So this year, it is going to be part of an open day to raise the university's profile. It will be publicized in the city to encourage people to come and find out something of what goes on here. Right? So they say it will be publicized in the city. Right? So that then they say to encourage people of city. They are residents of the local area. Local area means city and people means residents. Listen again. They say it will be publicized in the city to encourage people to come and find out something of what goes on here. So residents of the local area. Is that clear? Yes, that's right. Okay. Now we can go on. Then they say, and it's included in the information that is sent to people who are considering applying to study here next year. People who are considering applying to study. So those are actually potential new students. Listen again. For potential new students, they have used the word People who are considering applying to study here next year. Next year means the new ones, potential new students. So D will be another right answer. Clear? All right, very good. And then they say presumably some current students and lecturers will come. There is a question, Graham. I would imagine so, but we've been told to concentrate on the other categories of people. So, I mean, they are not sure about it as well. See that how odd ones are out and the right ones are in. Okay, now let's just move forward. Choose two letters. Actually, now we have questions 23 and 24, and they say choose two letters A to E. What are Kathy and Graham's two reasons for choosing the novelist Charles Dickens? So they have chosen the novelist Charles Dickens, and there are two reasons for that. Okay, yeah, what are Kathy and Graham's two reasons for choosing the novelist Charles Dickens? So, two reasons. A, his speech is inspired. Charles Dickens, his goes back to Charles Dickens. His speech is inspired others to try to improve society. Speech is inspired. He used his publications to draw attention to social problems. His novels are well known now. He was consulted on a number of social issues. His reputation has changed in recent times. Now listen to me carefully and then decide out of 5 which is the right option and why the other options are wrong. Alright, then they said right, we don't have to cover the whole range of 19th century literature, do we? Graham says no. It's entirely up to us. I suggest just using Charles Dickens. So now be alert. They are coming here. Kathy says, that's a good idea. Most people have heard of him and have probably read some of his novels. Now listen carefully. Most people have heard of him and have probably read some of his novels or seen films based on them. Now what is that? His novels are well known now. How do we get to know? Most people have heard of him and have probably read some of his novels or seen films based on them. So that's a good lead into life in his time. So actually his novels are well known. Novels and films and people have read them and all that. Okay, that's a good start. Then Graham says exactly, and his novels show the awful conditions that most people had to live in, don't they? See that? His novels show the awful conditions that most people had to live in, right? Then they say, don't they? He wanted to shock people into doing something about it. So what is that? He used his publication to draw attention to social problems. I tell you how. And his novels. Novels means publications. Show the awful. Now show means actually draw attention, right? Awful conditions that most people had to live in. This is what we call social problems. Awful conditions that most of people had to live in. Don't they? He wanted to shock people into doing some about it. So B is the second option, which is right. Then they say, did he go any campaigning other than writing? Then say yes, he campaigned for education and other social reforms and gave talks, but I am inclined. So he gave talks, right, inspired others to try, but they say I'm inclined to ignore that. Okay, so actually they are not, this is not the reason, or these are not the reasons. This is again going to be a trap, right? And then this one, he was consulted on a number of social issues. They use the word social issues like awful conditions and all that, but this is not the right answer. His reputation has changed in recent times. This is not the answer. So option B and C will be the right answers. All the best. Welcome back. How are you feeling? Good? The way I am teaching you, you have to teach yourself. I'm just giving you a demo. Actually, you have to do it in the same way. I also teach IELTS online. If you want to join my online IELTS classes, my WhatsApp number is given. You can contact me for that. Asad Yaqub truly wishes you all the best. Take good care of yourselves. Allah Hafiz.